You're watching Oilersnation Radio.
You loved our trade deadline coverage. You're going to love a whole episode dedicated to NFL free agency. Good.
It's been relatively slow, I think.
Yeah, I heard the Patriots did good.
Did they? No, the Patriots have a lot of money, so they're throwing a lot of money around. Whether they've done good or not, we'll have to see at the end of the season. But it's very easy for teams who have lots of cap space to just go crazy on day one. I know
like the Vikings
have done it before.
Rebuilt the trenches today.
That's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Who gets our Jeff Jackson in the moment free agency king award?
It's got to be the Bears, right? It's always the Bears, and then they shit themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I just feel like that's like a Woods. I feel like the Jeff Jackson award is like, this was good, but now it's not.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the midst of it.
What is your specific NFL team? We're going to dive into all of it over the coming hour because I don't want to talk about the Oilers after last night, but we will. Going to start off with a delicious debate. Dan is on deck today for the delicious debate, courtesy of our friends at Odd Company. We are proud to partner with Odd Company, to bring you the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for the next big game, your next go-to lager, or to recover from a very disappointing loss to a bottom feeder. Nation Beer Everyday Lager is for you. Find it at both Odd Company locations here in Edmonton. Tyler keeps pumping the pizza. I have yet to try it. I need to go.
It is lovely.
Spicy Hawaiian's legit.
Spicy Hawaiian?
Yeah.
I like that.
Spicy, the ham.
No, they put jalapenos on it.
Jalapenos.
Maybe some red pepper flakes.
Oh.
Perhaps.
Find Nation Beer at either of those Odd Company locations or at liquorconnect.com. It's kind of like a search engine for your beers. Find it at a liquor store near you. Daniel, Nation Dad, you're up on the delicious debate.
Yeah. So those of you who don't know, I was just told I'm doing this about 3 minutes ago. I've been quietly pondering ever since. You guys, 3 of the hosts on this show did do a trade deadline show. Rick and I were not there for it. So my delicious debate is going to be, after watching the 2 games we have since the new additions to this team, minus Trent Frederic, we haven't seen him on the ice yet. Is there a winner or loser on this team that you thought we picked up, or is there somebody that we missed out on from the trade deadline that you've seen that you would like to have had added to this team instead?
I'll just go with what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because we talked a little bit about the Rantanen thing afterward, and I got that a little bit later. But like for what actually happened, I'm a big fan of Jake Walman so far. Didn't know much about him outside of the gritty before he got here, but the way he moves the puck, I think he skates well. He's willing to use his body. That first game, obviously against Dallas, was a very, very strong first impression for him. So I'm a big fan of Jake Walman so far.
I agree. I really like Jake Walman. He plays with a bit of bite too, which I like. He talked on After Hours that like he's a guy who is weren't his exact words, but like he's got some swagger. He was like, I have a personality. And I think that's good for this team. They need someone who comes in there and isn't afraid to maybe run around a little bit and have some swagger.
That was an interesting one. The Walman,
I felt like they were still going.
Yeah, I thought there was something else there.
Breath or something like that.
Oh, no, I like that he has swagger, and I agreed with everything else BM
End
said.
of sentence.
Wow.
I think Red Wing fans are pretty surprised at the Walman that they've seen out of the Oilers for the last 2 games.
I do think, like, I know there's talks about, like, oh, is he good in the room? Why did Detroit give up on him? Why would San Jose get rid of him? I also think some of that stuff goes away when you go to a contender. I think being in a losing team sometimes pushes guys who are more intense to get frustrated, and that can lead to rifts.
The thing that worried me about Walman was the fact that, I can't remember who it said, but said he wasn't particularly physical. For me, I think we need some physicality in our defense because when other teams start to cycle on us, we get lost. The more they spend time in our end, the more we get lost defensively. And then we just end up allowing shooters to shoot from point blank in the slot with 4 guys not looking at them. It's very difficult to our goaltender. Now, what I've seen, though, in the first 2 games is not what I read when in terms of physicality. He even had another open ice check the other day. But it goes down to the same thing of Max Jones, too, right? Like, he's what, 27, 28?
Yeah.
Not a full-time, not a regular NHLer.
No.
So what I saw in the first 2 games, I don't expect to keep seeing. Because if I did see this the whole time, he would be a regular NHLer.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think they're both on upswings. We'll see how it goes. I really wanted Brad Marchand. It is what it is at the end of the day. I think that's the type of guy that you need that this team needs in the dressing room and could really use on the ice. But to me, the biggest issue this team has is guys on the team that are not doing their jobs as it is. And if this was Friday, I would have said Hyman, Nuge, Arvidsson, Henrique, and Brown all need to up their games offensively. I really don't know what's going on with Nuge right now. We need the real Nuge to come back. This is a detriment to the team right now.
I've got some pretty horrifying secondary scoring numbers for you a little bit later.
They are really bad right now.
It's a little
I don't
tease
know,
for you.
I don't know what you do. Do you take them off power play 1 and give him some break? Like, I mean, this dude has played PP1, line 1, PK1, 5-on-3, 3-on-5, shootout, and then second line overtime. Like, this dude's out there almost all the time. He and has been for years. He's got to be tired mentally, something. Like, he's a shadow of himself right now, and it's hurting the team more than anybody we could have brought in.
Well, and every time that McDavid and Draisaitl get put together, he's then called upon to spell them.
He should be able to
keep the offense going.
He should be able to,
but he's doing it with the bit pieces that you just listed are all having issues.
But they need to be playing their games better.
Of course, agreed. But Liam,
he's a leader. He needs to lead now.
My turn. So the question was thoughts on the 2 games, and is there a trade I would have liked the Oilers to have made, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The second question, I will say no. I think sometimes you can add too much to your locker room. I think adding a top 6 guy would have been awesome. Don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know. Like, there wasn't a deal like the Marchand one coming back for a second is obviously would have been a nice piece, but it sounds like Marchand was kind of like, I'm going to Florida.
Yeah.
Which would mean he didn't want to come to Edmonton.
He wanted to stay in Boston.
We had a debate about this yesterday on the Real Life podcast, though, when I brought up Marchand told the Bruins he wanted to go to Florida, and Jay made a point of if Connor called him, that would have changed it.
I have an issue with Jay not wanting him in the first place.
Yeah, Jay was surprisingly not super hard for Marchand.
I honestly thought like someone had.
But where did yesterday's rant come from?
There was someone behind the camera looking at Jay. I didn't know if that was the real Jay or not. I really surprised by that.
I didn't really want him either that bad, to be honest. I get
dude
it.
Wins
for the price he cost. That would have been a good deal.
The dude won a rookie in 2010.
He won this year with Team Canada.
Okay.
He's a winner and a competitor.
He won it with Team Canada. He is a competitor. There's no doubt. He's won, and he's been part of a winning culture, which is obviously important. I'm not saying he wouldn't have brought value to this team, but I just think that like this team likes so much speed already in certain areas. Why do you want to add less speed?
Because he can score and do something that Arvidsson can't.
I agree, but they couldn't move Arvidsson to bring in.
He wanted out.
Arvidsson?
Yes.
It wasn't. All right, whatever. Like they didn't go. They couldn't get Marchand. So the second part of the question is no, I would not have made anything. Marchand for a second round pick is obviously decent value. From Walman, I think it's good. I think you can move him around the lineup, and I think that's a positive thing. Max Jones, I do like, and I think he's brought a lot more to the table than I expected. I am oil to the max. Hashtag
oil to the max.
Oil to the max. So that's big.
Just
the content.
Just waiting for this debate to come, and now he's just dropping it all right.
And now,
Max on the inside of his hand.
Rick, you said something interesting there. He was like, you don't expect this from Jones every night, and I would agree. Like, it's hard to expect anything too much from him. He's essentially a fourth line player.
But yeah,
But Louis said on our show yesterday that like I think it was Tampa that he said he's like, I was in the NHL my entire career. Then I went to Tampa, got injured or whatever happened. Now all of a sudden I was in the American League. And that happened to Max Jones this year. He was sent down to Providence, and I think he's just playing like a guy that never wants to find his way to Providence at that level again. So I actually think we'll see like consistent hockey from him and like, pun intended, maximum effort.
I'm gonna be a little more patient on getting too jacked up about him, because I have done this before, where you get super excited about someone's
buy a jersey, and next thing you know,
debut. I'm okay with the jersey buying. There's a couple other ones that I've probably been on the cusp of that I'm like, hey, thankfully not. But no, he's looked really good in the first 2 games. A really good first game. That dangle between the legs was, I was like, that's not supposed to be a guy like this.
Is what it was,
but it was doable. And he did it.
He's a first round pick.
And his pass to Corey Perry, I wanted it about a fraction of a second before that. I think I yelled pass 3 times before he did. Got through and we got the goal. But yeah, like I'm expecting him to even out a bit, I think.
But does it not show how poor our bottom 6 has been when a guy can come in and play 3 games? And it's like,
But it's
he didn't even do anything that special.
no, he's showing a heartbeat. He's going out there doing the not fun stuff, the blue collar stuff, and that's what I thought we really needed.
That's where I was excited about all these pickups that we had. Is I think that they're just an injection of energy and spirit into this team that maybe has lost a little bit of it, especially when you see that from wow.
Why do we have
all kinds of?
Well, I mean, if you look right there, if you can lift the shelf another foot, it'd be fine. Just
Move the shelf then.
I love top half of the floor.
I love the energy that those guys are bringing to the lineup, but I think that like Walman's addition to this team is going to be more important as he continues to eat away at those other guys' minutes, and they don't have to be on the ice all the time and as effective in every minute that they are. You saw it with Bouchard against Buffalo there. Just, yeah, again, I think you just take some minutes, trim some minutes off of the guys, and it'll be able to help them out. But yeah, I really enjoyed all of the additions, and I'm really looking forward to what Trent Frederic brings to this team.
I'm too. I like the way that Max Jones is playing physically. Adding Trent Frederic is going to be another layer of that.
Yep.
A little bit spicier out there. I think will do good for a lot of the boys. They'll probably drag a bunch of them into the fight too. It's hard not to.
They have 3 guys who play like that. With like all 3 of these guys should be able to bring some momentum to the game in different ways.
And I'm really intrigued, especially after what we kind of have seen the last 2 games. My patience is running a bit thin for a guy like Vasily Podkolzin consistently getting the minutes he's getting, despite the fact he can't score. Like, I think Trent Frederic or Max Jones deserve a look at the lineup. Obviously, Frederic unavailable, but like someone who can go to the net hard, who's willing to shoot and still make plays. Like, they need some sort of help in their top 6 because, again, it just feels like it's Leon Draisaitl doing everything right now.
I wanted them to go back to Skinner and Savoy on that line. At least give it one game, do the Connor and Leon thing when you want to do the whatever. But on the off shifts, it's Leon down the middle with Skinner and Savoy.
Yeah,
let's see what that is. We've tried everything else pretty much. Arvidsson's looked a little bit better in the last couple of games since the deadline. But again, after watching everything this year, I just can't sit back and hope for him to play to a level we want him to when he hasn't all year.
I'm with you. I mean, the Jeff Skinner thing is a little bit, I don't want to be like beating a dead horse here because we've talked about it so much, but like you all watched the game last night. He buzzes and he generates chances. And it's like, they have no one else in the bottom 6 who consistently buzzes with the puck on their stick in the offensive zone.
No one. He can shoot. He can like score from shooters spots.
Yeah.
Podkolzin can't.
Nope.
He's tried. He can. That's fine. Drop him down one and bump him up. And and Skinner's going down into the corners. Maybe he's not the greatest defensive player, but he's putting in those extra efforts in order to try and make up for it. He's doing what the coaches are asking him and deserves to be rewarded now.
See, that's where there seems to be this idea that Skinner isn't playing defense and he's on the goal. Like,
no, he's on the ice in the previous.
No, this is not me going to you, but like since the Pittsburgh game, after that, he's only been on the ice for 2 5-on-5 goals against. He's been on the ice for 6-4.
What about turnovers?
I have no idea.
I mean, there's no like
everybody's had no turnover.
Yeah, but that's fair. But like the point is like Podkolzin's been on the ice for tons. Arvidsson the same, and like they're not scoring goals. Like again, like the Skinner thing, I feel like we could have the same debate every single week, and we basically have had to. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like,
and I think he's doing the things the coaches want him.
100%, I would agree.
It makes no sense to me.
But as soon as he doesn't, he's
scratched
upstairs. It's silly.
Yeah, that. I know everyone was getting on Bouchard for that 3rd goal last night. I don't understand that. To me, like Podkolzin gift wrapped Buffalo that opportunity at the offensive blue line and then didn't get back in time to help his partner, to help his teammate. Like, I don't know.
I am not a Bouchard hater by any means, but one hand on your stick when the breath is down in the back of your neck, you have to be tougher on that puck there.
And
it was a slash.
Yeah,
that was 100% a slash. But again, one hand on the stick. And when you see a guy coming down like that, veer to the right, put your body in front of us.
There was 2 guys there.
Yeah, but one guy has to like reach across your body and one guy can get to your stick. Take the guy who can get to your stick and leave your cross body option up. I mean, even if you get there, you turn right hard to the corner, you put the puck in the corner, it's away from the net.
I think
leading up to that moment, though, I also had a problem with the fucking grenade of a pass that went out to Bouchard.
100%. Don't get me wrong. Like all 3 of our goals, I think were part of turnovers again. And everyone keeps, well, not everybody, but there's a loud part of this Oiler community is focused on goaltending. when there's so many mistakes before that puck gets to the goaltender.
Although that first goal last night can't happen.
Yeah, 100%. That was definitely on him.
Awful.
And that third, but then you look at the third one and you're like, well, what's he supposed to do here?
Yeah.
We've been talking about the lack of offense a lot during the delicious debate, so I might as well just jump into these horrifying numbers I found.
Oh no.
Oh, lovely.
Courtesy of Reddit user. I'll speak one day. Psychological Earl.
Oh, come on, Earl.
These are from the last 15 games, gentlemen.
Oh boy, that's not a really
So
good.
that's probably most of February.
It's a good chunk of February, yeah. Depth forward scoring
Oh boy.
from players not named Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, or Zach Hyman.
Oh, are we guessing or are you just going to tell us?
I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, we don't.
Damn it.
Last 15 games, Corey Perry leads the group
Hell yeah.
with 5 goals.
Oh, I knew it.
Jeff Skinner second with 2. Connor Brown, Victor Arvidsson, Nuge all have 2 as well. Then it goes Adam Henrique with 1. Podkolzin 0. Savoy 0. They only played 4 games. Maximum Jones 0, though he's only played 3. So what that means, fellas, if you're doing the quick math in your head, the Oilers have got 15 or 16 total depth goals in the last 15 games.
How many games did Skinner play in that stretch? Did it mention it?
Not
Does,
a huge chunk.
Because he had like half of them.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
he'd
know
probably like
that.
say half.
And
of
he's
it.
third.
So he's got 2 goals in say 8 games.
Well, and another thing with that, I know like when you say like 15 depth goals in 16 games, there's part of me, or the other way around, sorry. There's part of me that's like, oh, 1 depth goal a game. That's not bad. But like that is including guys who are playing top 6 minutes too. Like
yes.
that is not just like your 4th line or your
Like
3rd
if
line.
you, Corey
bottom
Perry's
9.
leading the group and he plays like 12 minutes a night, you got a problem.
Yeah.
It's our bottom 9 score.
No, but a lot of prop to Corey Perry. Like all the love in the world to what he's doing. Having a great year. Still a problem.
He's the guy we were like probably most critical of the depth
Not me.
players to start the season.
No.
So
Yeah.
you take Perry out, you've got, if you take Perry's 5 goals out, you got 11 goals in 15 games from the rest of the group.
So that 15 games started on like when they beat Seattle 4-2. And then from there, that was actually before they beat Dallas the other day. That was the last time the Oilers won in regulation.
Cool.
So they have won 2 of those games in the last 15. Jeff Skinner, to answer your question, has played 10 games.
Oh,
Played 10 in that, scored 3.
More than I expected.
it's more than expected. It's
Um,
still better, more efficient.
Yeah, like every other forward played 15 besides Kasperi Kapanen. 0. Shout out.
So there you go. The depth scoring is an issue, Tyler.
And also, like, we've been doing this pod as the 5 of us now for, I think, 3 seasons. And I feel like in each of those years, at the start of the year, we've looked at the Oilers forward group and been like, finally, depth scoring won't be an issue. And like, then the year starts and it's like, God damn it, no one can score without McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice.
But the summer of Jeff was full of deceit and deception.
Yeah.
Misconceptions all over the place, misinformation. Didn't tell Tyler about the no movement clauses.
Yeah.
Why didn't you figure that out on your own, Tyler?
I am
Come on.
disappointed with you.
Way to go, Tyler.
The summer of Jeff was a anomaly.
But it's just,
So when it comes to that, do you think as a former player agent, he knew that's a big thing for players, and so you kind of like throw it out there to keep the money down a little bit and kind of bring the guy in?
yeah,
And you kind of take the chance.
like
Yeah,
we've
for
heard
sure.
all 3 of Skinner, Arvidsson, and Henrique, at least we've heard they turned down more money elsewhere to stay here. So I think it's kind of one of those, the players like, okay, that's my last bargaining chip. Like I'll sign for $500K less than Winnipeg or whoever's offering me, but you're not going to be able to trade me.
So you think he offers it, or you have to ask for it?
I think
I think you asked
I
for
think they offered it to Skinner initially. This would be my assumption
Yeah.
because he's a 1-year deal guy, and we're like, hey, you want to play playoff hockey? We guarantee it that you'll be here for the year. I think the other 2, it was negotiated. Ironically,
wanted it,
and I
you
might
have to
not
pay
play
for it.
playoff hockey.
Had,
Could very well be a healthy scratch. The entire
had to
time.
have been that way, I would
I would
say.
think. Just to add to that 15 game sample size that BM was talking about, McDavid has 4 goals, Hyman has 5, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Uno,
Oh no.
Leon 12, 11.
Like Nugent, you can't even see him out there right now. When you do, it's not in a good light.
No, they got to turn the lights up.
And you know what? When it comes to JJ, I don't throw all the hate on him for those no movements. You have to blame some of the players for not fulfilling their bargains.
Oh, yeah.
I blame him.
You have to. You have you can't just say it's all your fault or all their fault. There is part and parcel here. They're half and half, but the players need to.
The players need to play to a standard, definitely. However, as the man handing out the contracts, he gets the majority of the blame.
And the fact that this team is winning and successful and should be a team that you want to be on and should not have to be a team that you have to incentivize players to come to more.
Yeah, 100%.
So that, I'm like 98% Jeff Jackson.
I've never been a part of one of those deals, so I don't know if I can. Like, I don't know how they.
Well, Big Milk, you put a no movement clause in my last contract, so
Yep.
You know what it's all about.
Yep. I give them to everybody.
Leave money off the table.
To be honest, I've not been a big Jeff Jackson fan like a lot of the time. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I didn't enjoy what he did on July 1st because I'd be lying, but like he does reek a little of arrogance sometimes in his conferences earlier in the season when we were talking about it. I've said it on other shows too, but it's for me is the cherry on top of what.
And even worse, Liam, I just noticed he never accepted my follow request.
Now that is just a kick up the bum.
You're in?
I'm in.
Oh, did you follow him before he went private?
Yeah.
A good call.
I tried to get him on Bowman Day. Still waiting.
Maybe it's like one of those things like you remember back to last year at this point in that season. I still don't think Connor Brown had scored yet. And then he did enough down the stretch and into the playoffs or in the back half of the playoffs to earn another deal. So it's like, maybe 3 months from now, we're going to sit here and be in love with Victor Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner will have a game-winning goal in the playoffs and we'll be like, unbelievable. But like for right now, with the way things have gone, I feel like for 10 days now coming out of Four Nations, we've been like, don't worry, they'll turn on the Jets right away. They'll turn on the Jets. And it's like, okay, now you only have 18 games left in the season. Like time's almost running out to just be like, we'll turn on the Jets.
A big difference too between this year and last year is it was one player they were waiting on. Oh, it's like 5.
Yeah.
We're just slumping at a really bad time.
Yeah,
and I do believe this team is a lot better than that. They will bring themselves out of this. I do think this is a playoff team built for the playoffs. But like Tyler said, I expected outside of the Four Nations, the guys are going, okay, all right, now boring hockey's over. Now we're in the final 6 weeks. This is why we're together. This is what we do. We're all veterans here. We've all done this. But I think you need some of that youth, some hunger.
Yeah, well, you saw it. I think you saw it against Dallas. First 2 periods. That was the gelled Oilers team, and then they came out in the third and were the old Oilers again.
I still think I was a little bit unlucky in that third period.
I think it was a bit unlucky, yeah. But
the power play goal was a power play goal. You lost your battle in front of the net. Win your battles. Win the
Anderson one, like that's
one of those ones. And then
what are you gonna do?
There's nothing you can do about it.
Let's talk about those win and losses a little bit more. But first, I got to tell you, it's a flight night on Friday at Greta. We're gonna watch Edmonton take on New York, and you get a shot at an unforgettable. Man, I'm battling today. Unforgettable Nation Vacation to Vegas. One lucky winner and their guest will travel with Oilers Nation and the crew to fabulous Las Vegas from March 30th to April 2nd. That game could be very meaningful, people.
4-point gap right now, top of the division.
So I've got a couple of spots left as well. If you want to go to nationgear.ca and just want to book your spot, I think we've got 2, Jay said yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2.
2 spots left?
Yeah.
Damn.
Almost sold out. So join us. But if you want to win a trip, come on down to Greta on Friday. It's going to be a great time. Tyler told me they got new games in.
Yeah. What did you play, though?
Football game. I walked past all the new games. I went, these are so sweet. Then I went and played football game. I'm a simple man.
Sometimes you just need to be a simple fella.
It's like that.
How'd you do? Do you new high score?
Yeah, I always go till I set the new high score. Then I walk away.
Of course, goes home. It's like that. What's that comedian called? Something Robinson.
Tim Robinson.
Robinson. When like you only play on the zip line. You don't do anything else. That's Tyler at Greta. You only play the football game. You don't come in for anything else.
Kind of reminds me of the Jeff Jackson
Sir,
conversation.
No, thank you. Sir, can I get something to drink? Shh, I'm trying to throw the ball.
In a way, Jeff Jackson is like Tim Robinson in the banana costume, where he's just trying to look for the guy who did this.
Yeah. Who gave all these NMCs? We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna try to find out who did this.
Who was in charge? Oh, we didn't have a GM. It could have been anyone.
Could have been anybody. Last night, obviously, a disappointing loss to the Sabres. They were riding a 6-game losing streak. They are currently last place in the East. What's the biggest thing that went wrong, Tyler?
The posts.
I mean,
a lot of posts in the first.
Yeah, I tweeted it out.
Small.
I tweeted it out as a joke when it was 1-0 Buffalo in the first. I was like, hey, The Oilers are either going to win this game 6-1 because things start going their way, or they're going to lose 2-1 because they hit a million posts. And like they ended up hitting a lot of posts, but listen, like it was to really play the hits here. It was a bit of death by 1,000 cuts. It's like, okay, if Skinner doesn't give up the first one, different hockey game. If the power play is able to come through in the third period on one of their looks, different hockey game. If they get a depth goal, different hockey game. One less defensive miscue or turnover in the neutral zone or O-zone, different hockey game. So I have a hard time being like one player or one part of their game is more at fault than anyone else. But like, again, even if you're going to be someone who wants to defend Stuart Skinner last night, and I think you could sit there and go, hey, they scored 2 goals against the Sabres. Come on. There is also a part of me that's like a lot of NHL teams goalies would have held the other team to 1 or 2 goals in that hockey game, right? Like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen played really, really well, made some massive saves. So you can sit there and defend Skinner. I'm going to sit there and go, you know, sometimes, especially in the sport of hockey, when you're not at your best, that's when your goalie has to be. And there's been too many nights this year where you walk away going, damn it, the Oilers hit 2 posts, ran into a hot goalie, and their goalie gave up 1 or 2 that he shouldn't have. So it's frustrating.
The one that was most frustrating to me was the Tage Thompson one, the first one specifically with that rebound control.
He's so slow at picking up the rebounds.
Caught in no man's.
It was like
He's almost like, you know how lackadaisical it looks like Bush would going back at the puck sometimes?
Yeah.
The puck will bounce off of him, and there'll be like 3 guys coming on him full barrel, and he's like,
he's just a chill guy.
Right now, exactly what it is.
But even that, I would say that is maybe not good a chicken and egg issue, but like he's slow at picking up all these rebounds, and we notice it all the time because there's so many rebounds from him to pick up. Other goalies, it just sticks to him.
No.
The others, the last 2 games before that were 1-goal games, and I think Skinner was making saves in there. For me, it was the offense again.
Yes.
You can't go into Buffalo and score 2 goals. There's been way too many times. I'm like, what was that? Game 63, 64, whatever it was. Like, okay, this team also has to know that their goalie isn't going to give them those saves. So they need to figure out how to score. We just went through the list of the last 15 games where nobody's scoring. Even the best player in the world isn't scoring goals. He's playing way better now. 100%. He's been unreal. The last 4 games probably. It's like, that is the problem for me. Is like, yeah, they hit the post 5 times. That sucks. They need a bit of luck to go their way, but like eventually, like, you've got to figure that out too. That would be number 1 for me, would be that. And like, then obviously the goaltending wasn't ideal. So many power plays, like right at the end. Like the one that ticked me off the most was right at the end, net's empty. The others put on a ton of pressure. I think Leon just missed. And then the puck comes to the point with 8 seconds left, and Booth just like flips it on. Yeah. It's like, hammer that thing, like put it on the net. Like that is so soft and so blockable. Worst case scenario, like I would say, and maybe I'm wrong, him hammering it and it getting blocked feels like it's more likely to go in the favor of the offense. If you flip it up at someone, it's just going to go off them. They're going to be able to call it, and you take it out of the zone like he did. Like, that's frustrating. That sucked.
It was frustrating because I think everything led up to that. And then, if he didn't have time to wind up and put everything into it just because they were so close. So you do kind of want that 85% shot. And sometimes that goes in, but the way he delivers the puck, for the most part, always looks so
soft,
effortless.
Yeah.
That he doesn't care. But it's not, that's just the way he moves and everything like that. But I agree with you, man. I've said this all year. This team is built for offense. They need to score. They're not scoring. And if you get a goal, you some of those go in the net. All of a sudden, the puck isn't where it is when the puck goes in your net. Like the plays change a bit. Their team plays on their heels a little bit more. They're not going after you so much. The one thing I'll never understand is how we're always so bad the shift after we score a goal.
That is weird.
Which I don't like. I almost
hockey stuff.
I'm like, we scored a goal. Dope. Timeout. Sorry, sir. Yes, timeout. Calm everything down here, guys. Sit down or find a line that you can start every period with and every after you just scored with.
And like make it a part of their identity. Be like, three, you are here.
We did the PK last year.
Yeah.
6 forwards and 4 defense, 10 guys. This is your guys' job. Get out there and do it. Now you're starting off periods and you're taking the first shift after we score a goal because I don't know what happens, but the other team seems to like level up and we look really bad.
So sorry to continue on that 15 game thing. I think it's a really good chunk of time. The Oilers were second in the league in shots for per game as well with 32. And they were 16th in goals for per game with 3.
Yeah, their shooting percentage at 5-on-5 is the lowest it's been in years.
There's some muffins going through.
Last night after the game, Chris Knobloch was as spicy as he ever gets when it came to what went wrong against the Sabres. Making a play, making a nice play, it's important, but it's frustrating when some of the guys who aren't contributing offensively aren't contributing scoring chances or are contributing for scoring chances against, meaning basically giveaways. This is really hurting us. It's really different if you're making those plays and it's leading to offense, and once in a while you get caught with a mistake. But if you're not creating that offense and you're also giving up plenty of chances, it's hurting the team.
I feel like I know who that could be about. Who? Vasily Podkolzin. Turnover, muffin of a pass, or grenade of a pass to Bush, back of their net. It's a guy who has not scored since January 15th against Minnesota and has 1 assist in his last 10 games and has not registered more than 2 shots on goal in a game since January 23rd. Like, again, and that's why I have more patience for a guy like Skinner, who will maybe have a defensive miscue here or there, turn over a puck. At least you're going to sit there and be like, shit, he had 5 shot attempts, hit a goal post, and finished the game with 3 shots on net. And again, double digits in goals on the season. Like, again, some of this, and Janmark at least is a good penalty killer, so you can give him that. And Connor Brown, I guess, is a good penalty killer too. But like, I don't know. There's too many guys who you're sitting there going, they play hard and and it's just like, okay, but there's zeros in the offensive zone. And this team, since the beginning of February, has grossly struggled to score.
Put the ball back on Hyman.
I think we had enough chances to have 4, 5, maybe 6 goals. You look at the goalposts, you see their goaltender made some massive saves, but we only scored 2. That's not enough. The chances we gave up, those were all self-inflicted.
They were, very much so.
Can we not get, I honestly, I just get it tattooed on everyone's forearm. That quote from the coach for Team Canada right before we scored the goal.
Somebody be selfish?
And put the puck in the net.
Yeah.
The thing that bothered me about last night was
simple.
The Oilers, when they're struggling, I find they really get away from playing simple hockey. The goal that stuck out in my mind last night was Darnell Nurse. It wasn't even like a hard shot. It wasn't a big blast. He just put it through traffic and it found its way through. I don't understand why they don't do more of that. I'm also very, very frustrated with entering the zone, button hook at the boards and look for a point shot. Like, that's driving me nuts. We need another pitch than that, I think. A lot of giveaways happening there, but like, the Oilers just get away from playing simple hockey when they're struggling, and it's very frustrating.
Well, and even the points when they hem the other team into the zone, it feels like once they have a team kind of like hemmed and they've gotten a couple chances, they get into like, not quite, or maybe it is power play mode where they're like, we got to pass the puck into the net here, boys. Like Bouchard right before that Nurse goal, and it's why I tweeted like, shoot the puck. Bouchard had that look in the slot, no one around him.
Dished it to the right.
And he touched it off to the side. And like, even if that play would have worked, it wouldn't have been a better scoring chance than where you were. Like, man, sometimes it's just really, really frustrating. And BM, you mentioned a different pitch when they break into the zone. How about a different pitch on the power play? They do it. The whole power play right now is Connor skate fast, pass to Leon. Connor skate fast, and everyone knows what you're trying to do.
Like when it was 30% or whatever it was, 3 years ago or whatever, Nuge was way more willing to shoot. That's gone. I don't know why. Bouchard only scored his second power play goal of the season last night.
It was the first time.
Mind blowing.
They say the first time he put the puck past the goaltender on the power play.
Yeah, because the first one was an empty netter.
This game, 60 what? 63?
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
So those two things aren't happening on the power play. That open lane to Leon in his office is not there because those other shooting options just aren't shooting.
Because we don't use it. Yeah.
So yeah, to Tyler's point, they need a different pitch. They need probably a couple because it's just straight fastballs down the middle right now. And when it works, it's great, but it's not working nearly enough.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta, I take Nuge off.
Man, this is actually a really interesting number. If we use Nuge as sort of the litmus test of what are they trying on the power play, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins shots per 60 on the power play. This year, 8.3. Last year, 8.3. Year before that, 11.36.
Yeah, so
he's shooting the puck 25% more.
And he was zipping it all over the place.
Yeah.
And like, again, part of creating shots from different angles is like Liam said, it's going to create some chaos in front of the net. You've got Zach Hyman right there. He will put it in if there's something laying there, but they're not doing it. It's a lot of perimeter play.
And shoot from angles. Goalies aren't necessarily dialed right onto your spot.
And sometimes you shoot for a rebound, like create some chaos.
Yeah.
Simplify. Take a step backward. Liam, you look like you're in deep thought over there.
I went back and looked at the previous 15 games before the last 15 games, which conveniently was right after from the Christmas break to the night before San Jose, I guess. Leon, 11 goals. Hilarious. So he has 22 goals in his last 30 games, Leon Draisaitl.
So slightly less effective.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The Oilers have only scored 6 more goals. 45, 51, 6. Yep. Nugent-Hopkins had 9 in 15 games.
Yeah, it's not good enough.
And then he had 1 in the last 15. You got a bit more from Henrique, 4, Arvidsson 3, Podkolzin 3, Perry only 2, Skinner 2, Kapanen 2, Brown and
Henrique's been invisible too.
Yeah.
I think my thing is that we have a head coach that just continues to go to the nuclear deterrent every time that things go bad. And I think that you guys are all saying, you're all nibbling around the edge and talking about the thing where we just need to change up our approach to everything. But this is a coach that's showing that he's not willing to do it.
We did this whole thing with Woodcroft, though.
I know. I agree.
Put those guys together. If that makes you win, 100%.
I kind of agree too. I think it's just like
We make it sound like it's a bad thing.
He clearly is very aware that his depth isn't good enough, and I think that's why he goes to it so often. Like, I'm against it. Like, there was a Pittsburgh game earlier in the season. I think going to it that early was a bad idea. Basically, 2.5 periods of it. And sometimes it's a bad idea, but I think sometimes too, when it's like, okay, I can clearly see Mark, Brown, and Henrique just isn't going to score me a goal tonight. Like, I don't want to see him on the ice.
That's where, again, I understand it from the perspective of like, you're sitting there, you're like, hey, I don't want to lose tonight. And if the bottom 9 was scoring, you wouldn't be in as many positions where you have to do it. But again, it's part of it is like, it's not working, but it's not working because of that. Like Connor and Leon will go score their goal, then they don't get a goal from anywhere else in the lineup. And it's like, shit.
Who scored last night? Nurse and Bouchard, right?
Yeah, 2 more defensemen. Like, I know NHL Sid's been all over this, and you kind of referenced it with the button hook point shot. The Oilers shoot from the point more than any team in the NHL.
4th, I think.
Yeah, or close. Yeah,
Maybe that's points for defensemen.
It's crazy. Like they are a one-trick pony at 5-on-5. They're a one-trick pony on the power play.
Which is wild because they didn't show this lack of creativity even last year.
Yeah.
In terms of teams who have 2 really great players, outside of Pittsburgh, Gino and Sid, did anybody keep them separated? Rantanen plays with McKinnon. Like everyone, the Sedins were always together. Tampa, Boston had their line together.
I think
why do we sit here and look at this line like it's a bad thing when everybody outside of Pittsburgh has done it?
I think the argument is to have it split up is that they're both centermen and the other guys you labeled as centermen and wingers.
Yeah.
So I think that's why, and I don't think you're wrong, Rick, but I think that's why everyone looks at it as like, hey, if you just spread those 2 guys out, it should work. But then also, again, we go through the guys who are scoring goals, and Arvidsson and Podkolzin, who play with Draisaitl more than anyone, have combined for what? What are they at? 12 goals this season together, something like that, 13.
But
not enough.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, not enough.
I guess like I don't have the stats in front of me, but Pittsburgh did split up Malkin and Crosby.
Yeah, but outside of
and then
that,
they brought them together for the playoffs, or for the power play. And I think, I guess, yeah, it's like one of those things that this team, we like to separate them until things go bad. Then let's just go to it right from the start so that the other lines can maybe gel. And I think that that's been my issue, is that when you go to that blender every single time, then you're expecting the rest of the lines to figure it out. And they're already not good enough with Leon or Connor. Yeah, now we're like, do better.
That's the unfortunate. They are good enough.
Of course they are.
But it's on them to bring it up. This is where, I've said this for the last couple of years now. I think the GM has built a Stanley Cup caliber team the last couple of years. It's down to the guys with skates on their feet. You have to go out there and do your job now.
Yeah.
It's not fun to do some of the things you have to do because that's what gets you wins. But you do the unfun things. You do the blue collar things. And then it turns into the fun stuff, the goals.
There was a point where I think it was against Colorado, and then maybe it was Minnesota then to Colorado. Arvidsson, Podkolzin, and Nuge played together. They were pretty effective. And I think it's because, like Dan said, they were given like a little bit of extra time. And I think that's the thing too, is like when you go to those 3 big guys and Dry, McDavid, and what's the other fellow's name? Hyman. They play obviously a ton.
Yep.
Which then becomes difficult. But also too, like I think Knobloch is also right in doing that because he's like, hey, like I don't want to play these guys all this much, but you're doing nothing.
But he also plays them outside of like commercials and power or penalty kills too, right? So those are almost extra. shifts for them.
Download the Oodle Noodle app today. Order takeout or delivery. It's easy. You can earn free Oodle Noodle just by using it to make your order. Sign up for the loyalty program through the app. Customers get 1,500 loyalty points. That's a $15 value. Just for signing up, you can get the app on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. The other thing that came out this week was no Matthias Ekholm or John Klingberg on the trip. And they are still in Edmonton, are they not?
Klingberg is on the trip. Luia was on our show and misspoke a little bit. Klingberg's on the trip. Ekholm is not. So that basically means they've committed to shutting down Ekholm for a full week.
That's fine.
Do we know what's going on with him?
He's recovering from an illness.
I feel like he's been sick since December.
Well, because I tweeted last night, I'm like, what is this illness? Like, well, clearly our man's been down and out for a minute.
Some sort of plague.
He's got a plague of some kind. But then some of the media guys were like, I heard it's a core issue. Is it one or is it the other? Is it both? Because anytime, like Rick, I know
Nations, they said he was sick.
And he was at Four Nations. Like that's the part that.
But like anytime I hear core issue, Rick, and I know you'll think the same thing. It's like, how could I not think of Martin Havlat?
Yep. That is like, okay, he's good. And he turned
He's
right,
not good.
and nope, there it goes again.
Maybe,
You never get back from it. Ever.
Maybe in January, Ekholm should have went and saw Aaron Ekblad's doctor.
Why would it happen?
Cheaters. Panthers are cheaters.
Revert the cup.
I demand justice.
Mm-hmm. In case you didn't know what Tyler's talking about, Aaron Ekblad from the Florida Panthers suspended 20 games for some peds.
Yeah.
For cheating.
Yeah, now he's off their fucking cap too.
I saw people doing that, being like, "Oh, of course." He's only off their cap because he's not getting paid. So I highly doubt Aaron Ekblad was like, "I'll give up $1 million." Like that's how much he lost because of this, $1 million.
Yeah, but who's the old owner? There is it out one door and then back into his pocket through the other door.
I don't know.
I think if this was before the deadline,
I agree with you.
it would have been like, way more suspicious. But they had the money for Jones anyway. But yeah, dirty.
Do you think they knew it was coming? Do you think that was part of why they went and got Jones?
Yeah, I think they knew it was coming.
So anyway, Aaron Ekblad.
The Oilers have never had a cheater.
No.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Ekholm, hopefully back after the trip, whoever they play.
They got 3 more games on this trip.
2 more. Oh,
3.
No,
Three.
yes, they play the Rangers after the weekend too. Or Sunday.
They got back-to-backs here on Thursday, Friday,
Correct.
and then the Rangers on a little Sunday, fun day.
God, they've been
Oh,
on
is it
the
a-
road.
I will say it's a 5:00, I think.
That's like
5 or 6, I think. This New York trip is usually one of the, in air quotes, easier ones to get through because I'm pretty sure you stay at the same hotel the whole time. Like once you get out of
so
Buffalo,
unfair.
you-
Hilarious, but unfair. Almost
Yeah.
unfair.
The thing that makes me nervous about it is the Oilers are again starting a road trip on the East Coast with a loss to a terrible team.
And yeah, that was the easy spot on the bingo card. Granted, the Devils aren't playing great, haven't been for a long time. The Islanders might stink and traded away one of, if not their best player. So at least you can look to that. But like, I really feel like you got to win. You got to sweep this doubleheader here for me to feel good about.
They
So
almost
you
play
got-
better against better teams though too. And
Yeah, that is also-
there's no excuse for last night. They should have fucking won that. But this team's done this for trillions of years.
Oh,
It feels like they come out against the big teams and you're like, yes, finally. And then they come out against the little team. You're like, yep, bring that team out from the other game. And they don't. And then you get smacked and you're like, oh, here we go again.
So you got the Devils on Thursday. You got the Islanders on Friday. Those are both 5:30 starts, and then Sunday is a 5:00 start at MSG.
MSG.
The other thing I want to mention before we get into some betting talk here is how interesting it is how candid Rod Brendamore was about the Mikko Rantanen situation.
That was weird.
Candid or pissed off?
Both. But that, like this, even the news where Mikko Rantanen goes, there's 4 teams I will sign with, and you are not one of them. Like, we don't normally hear that. And
That
then
means they made the trade without them going, hey, would you be consider re-signing with us?
I mean, credit to the Colorado Avalanche for leaving that detail out.
Big time.
yeah.
Yeah.
They pulled a Jeff Jackson.
And everyone says,
Do you think he'll want to resign in Carolina? And there's Joe Sakic like, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a
I don't
handful
know.
of teams he said he'd really want to sign with.
Anyway, I just thought it was super interesting
4
because, like,
fingers
normally you don't kind of see the stuff that's said behind closed doors in the media, but Rod Brendamore said the quiet part
how often do we hear that Carolina is so good at their off-ice management stuff?
all the time.
They said,
And they did
Brendamore-
Well, and to paraphrase, he goes, I've never heard of another player that wanted to leave here.
If the Edmonton Oilers did this, they'd be like hogtied and drug across the fucking city off the back of a
Yep.
I'd say the Nation truck, but I'll go with the Cyber truck instead.
Good call.
Like it makes no sense how they get away with this all the time. It's twice now they've gone after the big guy. Neither time they've been able to sign him.
I will
the
say,
window's open, Rick. It's open for the next 10 years because they have all these prospects and picks. So much success.
But they can never win because they don't have a superstar.
Yeah. Shout out.
they tried to get a superstar. I actually commend them for doing what they did. I think.
But
they
is he a
played it well.
superstar?
Rantanen?
Yeah.
I think so.
Or we're going to find out now.
I mean,
Is
we
it
want
Colorado Rantanen or is it Carolina Rantanen?
Well, one
There's a
of them
difference.
was 9 years. One of them was 9 games.
Well, I saw
So-
one there played us, and he looked more like the Carolina version than the Colorado
On Saturday,
version. Yeah.
he had 2 points.
Yeah, but you don't.
And he
He
got
could've
robbed by Skinner. He could have had 2 goals.
It's going to be safe.
Great save.
Wow. Also
Rico.
interesting for the Rantanen situation was seems like the Oilers were right there at the end.
No, would you have called him a superstar then, Rick?
No.
You know,
I would have been like, obviously it didn't happen, and anybody's just guessing. I would have loved to see how they made that work. The math is confusing. The picks and players going out would have been confusing.
I look at it more like in the summertime, and I just think if the Oilers went off and got a Rantanen, it's like in Juan Soto for the Yankees. They are way better positioned now that did not get Soto, spent that money on other players that have still spent less money, but their lineup is now way more deep.
okay, but let me run you through this scenario.
Okay.
The Oilers get Mikko Rantanen at this deadline,
Right.
for $2.3 million, which is less than what Jake Walman gets paid. And
Yeah.
then the cap goes up $1 bajillion for the next
Doesn't go
however
up a
many
bajillion.
years. Essentially, it's going
I
up
love this scenario.
bajillions. The Oilers would have no problem paying for him.
No, and
Like, what
I agree with you.
You would essentially replace, let's just say, Kanan Arvidsson for argument's sake,
Sure.
to pay Rantanen. There's
Yeah,
a little
but-
bit obviously extra.
But we don't
on
have
it.
any like youth coming up to like take over the spots.
We don't
We
have that
Savoy
anyway.
coming up.
Yeah, I don't have that anyway.
We have Savoy coming
What's
up. That's about the only person going from Bako next year.
So
no?
doesn't that make you want to pay a guy like Rantanen more because then you don't have to worry about your depth score?
No,
Yeah, that-
because now I feel like we need to go get 2 or 3 guys off the market to help out, and they need to be young because we've seen what hungry players can do rather than older fellas who are a little more hum-ha about their game right
Corey Perry is our 3rd highest goal scorer in the last 15
now.
games.
I would sign Corey Perry to next year right now.
I don't know. But,
You said that at the beginning of this season. He's proved you wrong. I just
yeah, he did,
he's-
but he also had 1 goal in the playoffs.
he's smart enough and his hands are good enough that he can still be an offensive player down low.
He's just not a guy you need to focus on at this.
And I think he brings something off the ice as well.
I
And we
agree.
definitely lack some of that stuff.
I had some intel on Rantanen.
Go ahead.
This is legit. I was told that the Oilers were the number 1 team he wanted to sign with.
If he got to free
If
agency.
he got to free agency, like July 1st, Edmonton was the
Well,
number 1 team.
Thanks
Well,
for that, Liam.
You're
I
welcome.
could have gone without that little tidbit today.
Enjoy yourself. We'll get him in 9 years. Don't worry. He'll be an Oiler. It's going to be great.
It's a matter of time.
Coming
What
over
is-
here at Corey Perry's age.
What is his number in Dallas now?
What?
13?
12 mil.
12 mil.
Also, I already said it on the show. You guys weren't there. I'll tell you. He was number 96 in Carolina, and Jack Roslovic wore that number.
Yeah, he got a
And he got a
Rolex.
Rolex, and now he got his number
It
back.
goes right back. It's the best.
What a
And the
deal.
Canes Pro Shop offered to Canes fans, if you have a Rantanen jersey, they'll flip the name bar to Roslovic for you. So now he's probably like the 3rd most popular jersey in the city.
Are they flipping it back again?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
doesn't
Like,
make sense to me because if you remember long enough ago, Ocho Cinco changed his name and they made, and like Nike or whoever's making the jerseys made him pay for it.
Well,
More generous than the NHL, apparently. The other thing that came about with the rumor mill was there was at least 1 team interested in the Vander Kane trade. Didn't work out. But clearly Stan Bowman was out there working the phones.
I
Oh,
think
right. Insiders, what do we got?
Well, I heard it was the Islanders. I didn't. But that would make sense. If all 32 teams were open, I would bet everything that the Islanders would call.
I'm guessing it didn't happen because Mitch Marner turned it down.
It was Toronto. We'll trade you. King,
What are your
but we
thoughts?
want
What are your
Marner.
thoughts on him signing here in the summer?
I'm in.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Whoa.
I just think he
Interesting.
goes back to Toronto, even with the noise from this past week.
I
are-
think the Oilers will call if he gets the free agency.
I think you take a look at it, but I don't see him being the type of player that we need. I think you've got another Nuge there.
And he would be a
No.
very expensive one.
Like today's Nuge, like the guy who like he disappear. He's out there, but he's not really doing anything. Yes, he can come up and score out of nowhere,
Yeah.
But then when you need him like to just play regular game, he kind of slips into the dark.
He's not a big game player,
Yeah.
as cavemanish as that sounds.
I mean,
He's
I don't know. I
might be the
disagree
best
with
player
that.
in Toronto, though.
I mean, he scored the game-winning goal against the Oilers, start of the third period. He got the game-winning goal in game one of that Four Nations, and he got the assist on McDavid's goal. I think it's the playoffs is a different picture. We have to see what he is this year, but this season he's done a good job of it.
I wouldn't pay
And
him.
then it's going to be Mitch Marner after he's got that big, hefty contract.
Like, to get him in free agency, you'd have to pay him Draisaitl money. I'm not paying him Draisaitl money.
He doesn't deserve Draisaitl money.
It's gonna be
Period.
fascinating to see where he goes. My bet would be that he just ends up back in Toronto.
12 and a half? No way.
14.
Oh, that's
Columbus,
Sure.
my bet.
Enjoy yourself.
Hey,
yeah.
they're doing great this year. They have 81 million to spend.
Let's talk about some betting. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, every suspenseful minute in between can be amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app today and use the code NATION to get in on the game. You must be 19 years of age or older. Please play responsibly. Of course, the code is NATION. I'm not talking about the Oilers today. No. I got some NFL bets for you today. We're talking free agency in the NFL. This one is where will he go, which I find kind of fun. Cooper Kupp, not going back to his original team. I want to know where you think of these top 5 favorited teams would make the most sense for a Cooper Kupp. Oh, my laptop just closed. Good.
I got him.
Go ahead.
I know where he should go.
Jags,
No.
then Broncos,
No.
then Lions,
No.
then Patriots,
Lions.
then Chargers.
No.
Are you going all the way down at 16-1? The Bills?
I'm going all the way wherever he fits on there. I think he goes to he should go to the Chiefs.
Ooh, that would be something. Where are the Chiefs?
The
on
Chiefs are plus 1,200 odds for Cooper Kupp.
here? Ugh, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be no fun. He is a Buffalo guy, I think.
Yeah, but you just got Josh Palmer.
Get more.
And you just got rid of No Shoes. You let him go to
Matt Collins,
You
yeah.
let him go to
No shoes gone?
Yeah, you let him go to New England.
Yeah. But yeah, we talk about it all the time, but like Cooper Kupp is going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver, or is he going to be a Hall of Famer one day? And it is so wild again that in the NFL, the Rams are like, well, we're going to release you because no team was willing to offer us a 7th round pick.
Yeah.
So we just got to release him.
Well, trades in the NFL make no sense to me at all. They valued draft picks in that league so highly, it's wild.
Patrick Mahomes, all his wide receivers got arrested. I think Cooper Kupp's a good dude. I don't think he's gonna get arrested anytime soon. So that's where I think he should go.
It's because players are players, but draft picks could be anything. They could even be a player.
Draft picks can like a fifth
I
rounder.
do love a
could be
mystery box.
Fifth rounder could be a starter of the NFL.
Yeah, like we
That-
saw that this year. Lad
They
McConkey.
don't have like the NHL and the NFL are so widely spread.
There's so
apart
many
on this.
different positions, I guess.
I do think we would see potentially if the NHL,
Brock
'cause
Purdy.
again, they're drafting these guys at age 22 in the NFL.
Mhm.
If the NHL was drafting guys at 21, I bet you we would see the draft pick valuations just skyrocket
It'd be
because then
different,
teams
yeah.
would be
Probably.
like, oh, the guy we're picking in the 2nd or 3rd round could probably be on our team to come out of camp or in 2 years or in a year instead of 3 or 4 years.
Let's look at the Super Bowl. Eagles won the last one. They are currently favored at plus 600. Chiefs up next at plus 650. Ravens at 650. Bills, Tyler at 750. Lions 900. Liam. 49ers are 1400. Commanders at plus 1800. Do any of those tickle your fancy as the Super Bowl
Why are the
champion?
Niners so high?
Name.
Niners being above the Commanders, who are 18-1, is crazy. The Commanders are actually a really solid value bet at
The
18-1.
Niners have just lost like 5 or 6 starters, like
Yeah.
big name
Mhm.
starters.
They also just signed Joey Bosa today, I think. Right?
I have
There were
not seen that
rumors.
yet.
Oh, maybe I'm
The
lost.
last I saw was the Niners and Dolphins may have offered about 10 million, and it's up to him to decide now.
But I would do Commanders with the way the NFC looks. I'd do the Commanders at 18-1, and that's juicy.
Yeah, that is. That's
I
really
hate
nice.
betting on futures championship odds when it's like 6 or 650. Like I need juice if I'm going to let my money sit for that long.
There's no interest for plus 750 for the Bills, Tyler?
Oh, tons of interest in it personally.
How about plus 900 for the Lions, Liam?
That's a good number. We'll see what they do. I think they've only had one free agent signing so far.
Looking at the MVP for the
Also
National
your
Football League.
coordinators.
Favorite to win right now as we stand today, Lamar Jackson plus 500, Josh Allen up next at plus 600, Joe Burrow plus 650, Patrick Mahomes plus 750, Jaden Daniels plus 1100, Justin Herbert plus 1600. You like any of those?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Reasonable odds too. Plus
Yeah, like
1100.
Allen, no, again, love him, but like it's so hard to win back-to-back years.
You go back to back. We have to have another big year.
I have to have it like
What's Lamar?
Plus 500.
the leader. That's actually probably a decent
He's
bet.
the leader? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's the favorite.
I like him or Daniels.
There you go.
Daniels for sure.
William's pondering.
Well, we can throw all these names out, but it really is just two guys. Like Jackson and Allen is way better than everyone else.
Jaden Daniels.
Mahomes.
Jaden Daniels. With a
Joe
little more
Burrow's
help
fun,
this
though. He
year. He's got Debo out there.
Burrow would actually be a decent bet too. Where was Burrow on that?
Plus 650.
Yeah, I don't know. They got to figure out their offensive line. They got to figure out their offensive.
I can't go with Daniels because they're not going to win the division. Like I just don't think
might.
they're going to be better than.
So that is 11-1 for you.
They're
Yeah.
one injury away though.
Ooh.
Quarterback.
Every team.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like they got rid of Kenny Pickett. Who's their backup now?
Dorian
Oh yeah, DTR.
Robinson, whatever his
DTR.
People,
Yeah.
Thompson Robinson.
Peoples, Thompson, Peppers, Robinson.
Yeah, the law firm.
So there you have it. Really like that one.
Never heard that.
I don't know. It's just
Oh,
off the cuff.
Go ahead.
I want to put you on the spot with something.
Sure.
We had Devin Dubnyk on Oilers Nation every day today.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, because remember when he called Nail Yakupov an idiot?
Yeah.
And we transcribed it onto the site, and it was one of the most read pieces or one of the most read articles on OilersNation.com, right?
Yep.
So I asked him, I was like, hey, you're one of the top read articles ever on the site. Could you take a guess at what the topic was? And he was like, oh, it was probably the year you guys made me the April Fool's joke. Do you remember what year we made Devin Dubnyk the April Fool's joke? Because he remembers and I could not.
I do think it was Coombsy in 2018.
What was the joke?
It was
It's
that we
coming
were
back,
gonna
right?
we were gonna bring him back as like the
As the
It's a
goalie?
classic
The bad
joke.
goalie.
Jimmy Howard. That was the big
I
one.
think that was it.
I can't even find it.
I thought
Yeah.
it was
Anyways, that was his guess. And I was like, no, it was when you called Yakupov an idiot. And he was like, I felt really bad about that.
I think, I
Did
think
he
when we
rescind
have,
it?
Devin on next week. I'm going to ask him about. I'm going to start asking him to tell us about certain players from that Oilers team. Next
Like
week,
Robert Nilsson.
next week,
Cam Barker.
Ryan Jones is who I'm asking him about.
Ryan Jones, man. Until he got that eye injury,
Should have wore that.
He was
visor last
awesome.
time.
he was fun.
He was such
He was the epitome of an Edmonton Oilers. He's like a third, fourth liner.
yeah.
His name was
Blue-
Ryan.
Yeah, we had about 32 of them.
Yep.
We were blue collar, went out there. He had I think like mullet type of hair. Like he
Oh,
fit the
yeah.
part, looked the part, played the part.
Handsome.
But Liam, you remember that was the year we were collecting all the Ryans. We had 4 Ryans on the team at that time.
I remember. We still a big thing.
Ryan is a
Probably.
huge hockey name.
Ryan Whitney, Ryan Jones, Ryan Smith, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Was Ryan O'Mara still
Ryan
around?
O'Mara, yeah, that
Hell
was
yeah.
Jeez.
So that was
Yeah.
5.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was huge.
I love
Huge,
it.
yeah. Jones 17 goals that season.
Yeah, I'd be curious. He had 17 and then 18, did he not?
18-17.
No
Close enough.
That eye
confirmation.
injury.
No confirmation yet as to whether he invested in Jones barbecue foot massage.
Nothing to confirm on that front,
Okay,
Yeah.
but we're still
you
investigating.
could check with Dubnik. Maybe Dubnik.
barbecue and foot massage. Joe's barbecue and foot massage.
I in my effort to find this Dubnyk article, BM, I found an article you wrote 8 years ago, the second annual Nation Awards, the nominees, and it's so funny.
Go ahead. What I got in there?
Least valuable player. And so you just had that, and then you have last year's winner. So you were like, I guess, teeing it up for a future article. Last year's winner was Nikita Nikitin.
Woo!
I nailed that one.
Number 2, the Devin Dubnyk Most Likely to Rebound Award. Last year's winner, the Oilers franchise. Unsung Hero Award, which was something you gave to someone in the playoffs. You gave it to Nick Chalmerson the year before. Most Punchable Face. Last year's winner, Zach Cassian.
He's a great candidate.
With the chops.
Least likely to be seen again. And last year's winner was Linus Omark. Most kissable, Nuge.
Wow.
10 years running, I think.
Least valuable. Is there previous ones? Like, I want to know who the least valuable player was every year.
It's a good award.
The LVP.
Yeah, it's a prestigious
So
award.
funny.
That is awesome. Who would it be this year?
Least valuable?
Victor.
Yeah, Victor Arvidsson probably just because of his time in the top 6.
Least valuable.
Least valuable.
Cost-wise.
Travis Dermott, Alec Regola.
How dare you?
The man hasn't even had an
You
opportunity.
do not know what you had
True.
with Regula
We
yet.
don't know if he's good or
How
bad.
dare you?
Least valuable.
I bet he's going to be a regular.
You gave the least likely to be seen again award. You gave it to Omar back-to-back years.
It's bound to be right at some point.
Congratulations, Linus.
I've got good ideas sometimes. Yeah, most punchable face. That's a classic award.
How many goals do you think Omar scored for the Oilers in? Don't look, Rick.
I can't see that far.
51 plus 14 is 65 plus 1, 66.
12.
Linus Omar.
12.
14.
I'm going to say 8.
Ty?
11?
Dan is correct. He scored 8 goals for the Edmonton Oilers. He had one season.
There's only one that mattered, though.
Yeah, it's been a Rooney.
Count.
Doesn't even go into that
Technically
list.
13.
Made the entire.
Man, the Lightning were so
I was
mad.
going to say,
So
made the
pissed
whole
off.
franchise
So mad.
upset. Stamkos ruined his career.
That dude did his spinorama, was going full front by the blue line.
Yep.
And he
He
almost
did that
fell.
stick clapper,
He
too.
almost fell.
Yeah. Omar's still going.
Good for him.
38 years old, playing in Sweden with,
Let's get him on the show.
oh, yeah, we should. Eric Gustafsson.
How do you feel about being the back-to-back winner of the Never to Be Seen award?
That's the last question we ask him. we got one more question for you,
Yeah.
Linus.
You got to send him his award.
Yeah, we should.
I should make him a trophy, yeah.
Brian O'Neill. Did he play? He played 22 games in the NHL. That's who he plays with.
Hmm.
Fun history look back, guys.
There you go.
Yeah, good luck back.
There you have it. I will not be here on Friday because I will be flying home from Toronto.
Ooh.
6.
The 6th, they call it. Next game is up on Thursday, so we're just going to wrap up the podcast real quick. Just a key to victory for Thursday against the Devils. Liam?
This one's gonna be big.
Hmm.
Let's score some goals.
Whoa.
I know. Believe it or not, that'll help you win a hockey game.
I'll piggyback on that. Quit
Okay,
passing up good
okay.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Eliminate turnovers.
Dan, what you got?
Interesting.
Up the physical quotient. I don't think New Jersey likes to get hit, so hitting them often early will win the game.
Keep it simple, stupid. Get some shots on net. Create some chaos. Come on, you're better than this.
And
Have a great
kiss.
week, everybody.
And kiss.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.